Okay. Welcome to Sky247.net presents Not Just Cricket, and they don't call it a Super Sunday for no reason. When we say Super Sunday, Indian T20 delivers 2 games with close to 400 runs each. What a terrific Sunday. But there has to be winners, and unfortunately, there has to be teams who are just about nearly there. So let's talk about the game today. Vaseem, I'll start with you. We're going to start with both the games, but let's just... the ones that stood out for you and the players that stood out for you is how we're going to start.
Well, I think पहले गेम की अगर हम बात करें करिश्मा तो we expected Lucknow has an upper hand and they posted a very big score. Delhi will be disappointed even though they came very close, losing that game by 6 runs. So the margin was very less. The openers didn't fire. जो उनका जो main weapon है, Prithvi Shaw got out again, hooking the ball. और कई बार आउट हो चुके हैं तो ही समथिंग फॉर हिम टू लुक एट. डेविड वार्नर हैजंट क्लिक बट दे स्टिल फेल 5-6 रन शॉर्ट. एंड जैसे हमने पहले बात की थी कि बिजनेस एंड पे आ गए हैं, दे डोंट वांट टू स्लिप अप. दिस लॉस कैन बी वेरी वेरी क्रूशियल. अगर वो जीत जाते हैं तो द टेबल वुड हैव बीन इंटरेस्टिंग, बट the top team Lucknow will be happy that they are moving ahead in the table. Talking about this game, outstanding batting by Gaikwad. जैसे उन्होंने बैटिंग की और हम लोग जिस तरह से बात कर रहे थे कि चेन्नई की बॉलिंग वीक है, तो दे नीड टू पोस्ट स्कोर इन एक्सेस ऑफ 190 200 and that's exactly what they have done. What a opening partnership of 183. Devon Conway come back into the side and he played his part. He played his first game खेला था, उसके बाद में ड्रॉप थे, बीच में अपनी शादी के लिए चले गए थे, but a way to come back, having that opening stand of 183. So he brought the lady luck with him. So outstanding. Chennai played a perfect game, and MS Dhoni is back as a captain. So that that luck factor also feels like it has come back, even though they have dropped so many catches, but still on the winning end.
Absolutely. अजहर जी, चलो हम फर्स्ट गेम के बारे में बात करते हैं. आपके लिए क्या हाईलाइट था about the first game?
No, highlight is that I think the batting of Lucknow side, I think they really batted very well, because as I've always maintained and said that, even the players who are set players always, if they play till the 16th or 19th or 18th or 19th over, they always post a very big score, as it happened in just now the game finished, with the CSK also, the Chennai. They always, if you have the players, who are the best players, I always feel that the best 5 players should bat in the first overs. So even with now with Puran also, अगर वो मेरे ख्याल में थोड़ा और आगे बैटिंग करते तो शायद मेरे ख्याल में और अच्छा स्कोर होता था, क्लोज गेम हो सकता था. बट लेकिन आखिरी ओवर में 38 रन मारना, इट्स नॉट एवरी टाइम you can't reach that target. But I think as we have all, I did say that LSG looks, the Lucknow team looks a favorite side, and that's what myself and Vaseem meant. But I think it was a very close game. We would have been proven wrong if Delhi Capitals would have won.
Okay, let's talk about Chennai. Is it fair to say the Super King, Chennai Super Kings is the body? If that's the body, MS Dhoni is the soul. The whole unit seemed to be so whole today, right? Vaseem, at least at the batting unit.
बिल्कुल. They lost the toss, but it didn't affect them. When you score in excess of 190 200, then more likely than not you are going to win. And like I've said before, the opening partnership of 183, outstanding. Ruturaj was just outstanding. जो एक थ्रेट था थोड़ा सा कि भाई हैदराबाद की बॉलिंग बहुत अच्छी है, उमरान मलिक, they nullified that factor. And the way Ruturaj attacked Umran Malik, just completely उनको game के बाहर कर दिया. And didn't let them come back. Even though I thought Hyderabad started really well, जिस तरह से अभिषेक ने और Kane Williamson started, but they kept on picking wickets. And then Mukesh Chaudhary also, a youngster who's playing his first season. Chennai has showed faith in him, picking up that more important, 4 wickets. And he's also like the other uncapped players. I also feel that he is also improved considerably, and he's picking wickets when it matters. Even though he's guilty of dropping couple of catches, but he's doing his part with the ball in hand.
Absolutely, and that double wicket by Chaudhary at the turning point, वो तो बहुत ही the match was completely changed after that, right? No, Azhar ji?
Yes, definitely. When you get two early quick wickets, when the players are
Yeah.
doing well, it makes a big impact, because then, the new batsman comes in, it takes a little bit of time, you spend three or four balls, every dot ball, it's very important, because the more dot balls you bowl when you are bowling, it is good for the team. So that is what happened actually. And I think when you lose two early quick wickets in quick succession, it becomes very difficult for a team to, really come back and then get the scoring rate at par. Especially when you're chasing a score of 200, you have to be up at the run rate. You can't let it go to 14 and over or 12 and over. When that thing happens, you're
Hmm.
always very difficult unless somebody plays a blinder.
Yeah. Okay, Vaseem, where was Rituraj Gaikwad hiding all this while? What a picture perfect knock.
Well, I mean, we all are surprised, isn't it? Last season he was the orange cap holder, but this has been the trend with him. Karishma, he is a very slow starter. Even in the first season, he had three failures and then picked it up. Even last season, even though he won the orange cap, he picked it up after third or fourth game. And this season hasn't been, it has been the same way. Ruturaj Gaikwad, if you see 1,000 runs, fastest to 1,000 runs in 31 innings, even after few failures at the start of the season. It's commendable. Somebody who's so young, he's just played for India, and I always feel that he needs to be looked at as a future opener, especially in the white ball cricket. You've got KL Rahul, you've got Rohit Sharma, and then you have got Prithvi Shaw. I feel who's somebody who can be also be looked at, and Ruturaj Gaikwad. I feel those are your guys to look at, for the future.
Yeah, and let's not forget about Devon Conway because he had a great, innings today. Let's talk about ये किसका phone है? This is how live it is. Let's talk about him because he was magnificent, right?
Yes,
Uh,
he really batted well. As Wasim said, he got that lady luck with him. So it was very important that he really batted well. He was a very good foil to Rituraj Gaikwad. That was the first time I have seen him play, in full bloom. I saw him whenever I've seen him. He got out very early. So now it was a very good innings. It was very. I really enjoyed it, and I think he really took Imran Malik to the cleaners.
yeah, fourth highest opening partnership as well, Wasim.
Yes, and they were treat to watch. The left hand, right hand combination, and SRH has been, one of the most decent attack. If you talk about the fast bowling, the kind of rounded fast bowling attack they have, they completely, negated that. Yeah, उनको बिल्कुल ही ऊपर चढ़ के bowling करने नहीं दिया, and they attacked from the word go, and not losing any wickets till the 16th, 17th over. I mean, it was game over from there on. 185, 183, I think it was. If you have a start like that in 17, 18 overs, you got very less chance of coming back. So outstanding knock, even though it was on a good pitch, but you can't take the credit away from both of them. They played fantastic knock.
Hmm. I mean, let's talk about Puran, Hyderabad's standout batting star, because he was definitely getting all of our eyeballs today. Azarji, let's talk about Puran.
Well, I think I always feel that this type of players, they should bat up high in the order, because I think
Yeah.
if you leave that person to score at least, like 38 runs in the last over, it's always very very difficult. Maybe once in a while it will happen, but I think these are the players, who need to go up in the order. They have to
Mm,
given that responsibility. They have to go play the game and win the match and come back. Don't get out. So I think they have the ability, but what is the use of that ability when it's under too much pressure all the time? Because you see, whenever Puran is coming into bat, is always under pressure. Like scoring runs, he has to score a run at a run rate of almost like 10, 11, 12, something like that. So it always becomes very difficult. Once in a while it will happen, But I always feel that he is the best player. Like for the same thing with the Delhi also, Roman Powell is an outstanding player. And at least make him play. Number three, give him that responsibility. Tell him that okay, fine. Even if you don't get runs in maybe first 2 or 3 overs, but at least he can cover it up later on.
Yeah.
If you stay at the wicket, then only you can score runs. If you are sitting, I mean, you are just taking your best players and putting them back, waiting that okay, fine, we'll get them in the slog overs. When it comes to slog overs or when it comes to the chase where you have to chase 12 runs in an over, it's sometimes it's very, very difficult.
अच्छा जी, जब आपने सचिन तेंदुलकर को पहली बार सेंड किया था 1994 में to bat, what as an opener, what was your chain of thoughts, mind of
Well,
thought?
I think my chain of thought was like he came and asked me, because he was going number 5 or number 6 or even when I was thinking also, I was thinking that his talent is being wasted at number 6 or number 5, because there's too much pressure on him. So one day he came and asked, he wanted to open the inning. So myself and Ajit Wadekar sir was there, we were very happy. We told him to go and play his natural game. His natural game is to really hit the ball hard, straight, and then I think he really played well. So from then onwards, I think he never looked back. I think that was the innings he played in Auckland. I think he scored about some 82, some with 56 balls or 54 balls. I remember distinctly. He almost came close to breaking my record of 62 balls, 100 in the one-day game. So that's how it is. I mean, like you have to give the players the right chance. See, we gave him the responsibility. You took the responsibility. The number one player in the world, one-day game and as well Test cricket.
Yeah, because you gave him that chance. But see,
Yes.
before we go to the next thing, which is the social tracker, why are they not, like Azarji is saying, they're quite back in the batting lineup? Why?
Well, I think they had a set batting order. SRH have been, Abhishek Sharma, Kane Williamson, Rahul Tripathi has done well at number 3, and then obviously Aiden Markram comes in at number 4, and then Nicholas Puran. That's have been their set batting pattern. But again, when somebody gets to bat so late in the inning, somebody like Nicholas Puran, if he comes in at over number 15 or 16, then you do feel like, if he had come earlier and played a lot more balls, he could have done a lot more damage. So I mean, it's fine to think like that, but then who do you send below Nicholas Puran, or who do you make him bat ahead? So that's the question mark. I mean, it's a valid point. Nicholas Puran, if he had come earlier, if he had faced more balls, he would have had more opportunity to probably win the game.
Yeah, definitely. We want our viewers to also give their inputs as well. I'm quite interested in this. Let's take a look at our Sky247.net presents social tracker. The first tweet is on the man who likes to keep everyone guessing, MS Dhoni #yellow. You'll definitely see me in the yellow jersey, whether it is in this one or some other one. You'll never know. So what do you think he's hinting at?
पता नहीं, I mean, पीला color पहना तो he likes to wear the yellow jersey, so not necessarily in the cricketing clothes. He'll wear the yellow t-shirt with the jeans also, so you can't stop him from wearing yellow.
Fair enough. Okay. Do you think he has another season as a player, Azarji?
I think he'll play more because he's hinted that way. So even last year also he said, you never know what will happen. But today he said that even maybe in a yellow jersey or another jersey. So I don't know. I don't think he will leave the CSK. I mean, but he may have given you a hint or something. But I think he's good enough. He can play. Because when Dhoni is playing in a team, he has to be a captain. He has to lead the side. He is a leader. You have seen the effect, because and Dhoni luck also, luck plays an important role. With Jadeja also, Jadeja was finding it very difficult to cope up with his own performance, the captaincy pressure built on him, and then he just succumbed to it. And then at the end of the day, he said, "No, I don't think." I mean, the Chennai management asked him to step down. I think he himself must have gone and told us, "Enough is enough. I want to concentrate on my batting, bowling." And then everything was affected for him. Even he's dropping easy catches. Wasim is one of the best fielders. If you drop such catches, then that means the level of concentration in your own game is not there. So the thought process totally changes when you are a captain and you are not a captain. So I think today, he was very free. And with Dhoni, with a lot of experience, when you have so much experience, leading the side comes naturally to him. I don't know. First place, why they made Jadeja captain? When Dhoni is in the team, he has to lead the side. I'm sure Wasim will agree with it.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, when you've got somebody so experienced who's won so many trophies, so if he's playing, then it makes sense. There's nobody better than him. That's the only thing. If there is anybody better than him, then it makes sense. But if there's nobody to lead, then MS Dhoni is your man.
Yeah, fair enough. Point taken. Let's take a look at the next tweet. Okay, so these are two different shots, and I want both of your opinions as to who. This is Gaikwad of Umran Malik, and agla wala hai
KL.
KL Rahul hitting this Yorker for a reverse scoop. So according to both of you, who was which was the shot of the day?
For me, I think it was Rituraj shot. I mean, that was one of the best. I mean, that is a proper cricketing shot. Somebody bowling at 152, 153 clicks, and then hitting him it right over his head for a six. I think that was probably the shot of the day for me.
But what about hitting a Yorker for a reverse scoop? That's
Well, I
also
think it's a manufactured shot actually, because now if you see today also there are 2-3 players try to attempt that shot. I mean for fast bowler they got bowled, and I think if you get that shot right, it looks very very nice. But if you get it wrong, it looks very
yeah.
stupid. But I think as I would agree with the Wasim, as I've already said that he took Imran Malik on head on, because and I think Imran Malik also he has to learn to bowl slower balls, and there's a lot of variety he has to develop. No, he bowls fast, like he bowled the fastest ball of the IPL today, 154, but it still went for a six actually. It took the
Yeah.
like he went to hook and then it went over third man for a six. So I think I totally agree with Wasim. It's very difficult to hit a straight six
Yeah.
over the top. It reminded me of that straight bat, that follow through like when Sachin used to play at times.
Wow. That's some compliment. Okay, let's take a look at the last tweet. So this tweet is on March. Is it possible for batsmen that they can feel something even when they haven't hit it? Looked pretty perplexing. Perplexing. What is wrong with my English today?
Well, I was surprised first of all that he chose to walk. Being an Aussie, first of all, he chose to walk, and then on that ultra edge, it didn't show. There wasn't any. Sorry.
Being an Aussie.
Being an Aussie, of course. And then in a sneakometer, it showed nothing. So obviously he must have felt it, but I was surprised. Your game is on the line. You're, getting closer to the targets. One decent partnership, was stitching. And then he chose to walk. That was probably a game-changing moment for me. I don't know. He probably might have felt that, he edged it, but the sneakometer didn't show it, and it turned out to be, a bad decision from Mitchell Marsh.
I mean, he only lost by 6 runs, maybe bad decision. But Azarji, do you think this was the turning point of the game?
No, definitely it will make because he was batting well, he was striking the ball very well. And then during this time, with the technical thing, so much technical advantage is there. So he could have taken that advantage. He could have taken the call. But maybe he thought sometimes as a batsman, you feel that you hit it, but sometimes things goes wrong. But I think walking is, I think, he's learned from his dad. I think that also a walker.
Okay. We have, God bless his soul.
That's
Let's
true.
have a look at the last tweets by Ian Bishop. Mohsin Khan is terrific. On Mohsin Khan, he is terrific. He should be front and center along with Umran Malik and a bit later on Kuldeep Sen. When India sits to pick teams for international cricket post. So that's IPL. So that's quite a nice little tweet there. How impressive was he? Proving to be one of the best finds of the tournaments, right, Wasim?
Absolutely. I mean, this tournament we have seen some really impressive talent, especially the uncapped players. Tilak Verma being the one, Mukesh Chaudhary in this game, Mohsin Khan. What a terrific spell this is. 16 for 4 with 15 dot balls, and coming against such a good team also. Hard-hitting players. Prithvi Shaw, David Warner, Rishabh Pant, Mitchell Marsh. Just outstanding to show that the kind of depth we have in our talent. It's exciting, very, very exciting to see all these youngsters, grabbing this opportunity.
Okay. Makes sense. So before we end the show, let's quickly look at the points table because we have to talk about tomorrow's show as well. But let's take a look at the points table to see where all our teams are placed today. Well, Chennai still make them, even with the win, they're still in the hunt, but certainly better than where they were. And
Chennai needs to win 5 out of 5. I think then they stand a chance. So they can't afford to lose even a single game. And then Punjab, Delhi, Kolkata, they've got their task cut out. They also can't afford to lose any games from here. So it's going to be very interesting.
do you think Lucknow have qualified more or less, Wasim? Azharji as
I
well?
think so. I think with the kind of squad they have, they need to win at least one game. I feel out of 4, which with the kind of squad they have and the kind of players they have, shouldn't be a too difficult a task. So winning one, they'll definitely win more than one. I feel, but I feel Gujarat and Lucknow and Rajasthan Royals. I feel they are more or less. I feel they are already in that playoff spot in my opinion.
Okay, let's take a look at the most runs in the race for the orange cap. There you go. KL Rahul clearly closing the gap to Butler over there. Still over 100 runs though would be needed. Let's talk about tomorrow's game. We have Kolkata versus Rajasthan. तो वो काफी interesting game होगा. Azhar जी, आपको क्या लगता है कि हमारे खेल में क्या होगा कल?
Well, I mean, Rajasthan has been doing well. I think they have to win all the games. Because if they,
Yeah.
I mean, they've come a long way. I think with Butler scoring so many runs, and I will be very disappointed if they don't qualify because the way Butler has played, the way the team has played. I mean, I think definitely, with KKR is now really it's very difficult to understand what is happening. Because they're winning games and then suddenly losing 3 games in a row. I think they started very well, but then the slump had come. But I think with Rajasthan also same thing happened. They started losing games, so I think they need to win all the games. So I think Rajasthan should do well in tomorrow's game. It appears that way.
Yeah, and Wasim, I mean, any kind of defeat is not gonna be good for the teams right now, especially Kolkata.
Bilkul. I think Kolkata need to, have their task cut out because, they've played some real poor cricket. They've lost 4 or 5 in a row. And this is a very, very good squad. I mean, looking at their players, I think they are much better than, the way they are performing. So they are already sitting very low on the, table, last year's finalists. And they're pretty much very similar squad. They've got pretty much similar team. But the way they have performed, they'll be very disappointed. So they need to, put their best foot forward. And Rajasthan is not going to be easy. Even though Rajasthan lost the last game against Mumbai, but KKR, if they lose again, they'll be out of the tournament, and I think it's going to be a huge blow for the squad that they have.
I mean,
Well,
let's see.
most of the teams have to put their best foot forward from now on.
Yeah.
So every team will
Absolutely.
do all the games, so it will be like a very good contest. Now I think that league has heated up now.
Absolutely. Let's see if Kolkata can end their losing streak tomorrow because it's a really do or die game for them. Very, very important. And a shame, actually, for such a great franchise, to be honest. To lose 5 in a row, it's you don't want to go like that, right? At least you want to feel like you had a fight and you played well. So, कुछ भी हो सकता है, and that's the beauty of cricket, as we all know. तो हम कल फिर मिलेंगे 6:30 p.m. IST time only on Sky247.net presents Not Just Cricket. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Good night and God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,